Welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Richmond, Round 3, Maria Bartholdi here in the booth alongside Jacob Van Lunen. Here we have Tanner Gates versus noted streamer Kenji Igashira, a.k.a. Numat the Nummy. I know a lot of his fans probably excited to see him play here in this Grand Prix. We'll be seeing him next week as well, as he will be helping out on the Pro Tour at Nashville. Kenji's going to kick things off with a Forest. Tanner is going to match with his own and pass back. An Initiate's Companion hits the battlefield for Kenji, a 3/1 when it does combat damage to a player, untap target creature or land.
And it works well with exalted creatures, and it also helps you curve out in specific ways when you're using it, especially alongside one of the monuments.
There's a Nefkrop Entangler for Tanner, a 2/1, which can be exerted to become a 3/3. Yeah, I wasn't sure about this cat when I first saw it because it has such a low toughness, but that if you're playing an exert deck, that is not to be ignored.
Absolutely. I think it is a very reasonable card. It makes the cut a good amount of the time. It's, not the greatest, but it is a very playable 2-drop in a format where that's very important.
Oh, speaking of 2-drops, here's one for you. Hapatra, Vizier of Poisons. Nefkrop Entangler trading, by the way, for Tanner. Take a look at this card. She's a 2/2. Whenever she deals combat damage to a player, you may put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. Whenever you put one or more -1/-1 counters on a creature, create a 1/1 green snake creature token with Death Touch.
Just an incredible 2-drop here, and it's a card that really lets you dictate the pace of the game, too, because your opponent can never really attack because they have to leave up blockers for Hapatra, and if they only leave one blocker back, then you can punish them with a removal spell. And if your opponent's not attacking, then you get to have the game go long. And if the game's going long and you're putting -1/-1 counters on your own guys or their guys, especially if they're playing colors like red and green, they're going to have a really, really hard time getting through those Death Touch snakes.
So Tanner forced to sacrifice the Bitterblade Warrior as Trial of Ambition comes down. Hapatra gets in and gets a snake. So is her -1/-1 counter ability, she's had to place one on herself?
Yeah. Which happens reasonably often, for what it's worth.
But worth it.
Oh, yeah, you get that snake.
And Kenji, well stuck on 2 mana, is in the perfect colors to utilize Hapatra to his best ability. Here we have a Benefaction of Ronus. Going to take a look at the top 5.
And you get to put a creature and or enchantment into your hand. And this is a nice one here. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Going to pick up a Trial of Zeal and a Soul Stinger. That's a great use of that Benefaction there. If you've got a lot of Trials or Cartouches in your deck, is this a reasonable card to play?
It can make the cut in a lot of different decks. It's interesting because in a lot of formats you wouldn't have enough enchantments. I mean, you're always playing enough creatures, basically. But here you have both the Trials and Cartouches. And when you have those interactions to play with, it can become pretty powerful.
Tanner did not, however, add anything to his board. So Kenji's going to be able to get in there again, potentially with Hapatra. For 2. Is going to put it on the snake, and then she just makes another Death Touch snake. Kenji unable to find his 3rd land, unfortunately.
And he was able to do a lot with those 2 lands, but he's really going to need to find a 3rd one at some point or another if he wants to get himself back into this game.
Tanner going to take a look at Hapatra here. This card, so strong, it has the ability to really dictate the feel and speed of a match.
Yeah, I mean, you can make your opponent attack when you want them to. You can make them block when you want them to. And for a 2-drop, that's about as good as it gets.
He's going to cycle here to try and find land. Wasteland Scorpion into the graveyard. Soul Stinger in play for Tanner Gates. Soul Stinger has been a card I've found that I quite like. A 4/5 for not a lot of mana, but you do have to. It does come along with 2 -1/-1 counters. However, when it dies, it moves those counters onto another creature.
Yeah, and when you're playing with the other cards that add -1/-1 counters to your own creatures, it's a nice little place to store all of them because it becomes a more and more powerful removal spell as you add more to it.
Kenji has found his 3rd land. In fact, Soul Singer in Kenji's deck would be pretty great right here.
Yeah, Soul Stinger works really well with Patra.
Here is the green trial of strength,
Ooh.
making a 4-2 beast in the form of a crocodile.
Yeah, now cartouches become really, really dangerous from Kenji.
Cartouches, by the way, in this format, just have been surprisingly amazing.
Yeah, when I first read through the set, I wasn't so sure how good, the red or white cartouches were going to be. And after playing with them, I'm very impressed with those cards.
Tanner's going to play his own trial here, Trial of Zeal, to deal 3 damage to the 4-2 beast. And the Soul Stinger sits back on D.
Yeah, Trial of Zeal, I believe, to be the best of all the trials. One of the best uncommons in the set. Perhaps the best.
Just 3 damage for 3. And recurring if you have cartouche.
Yeah.
Kenji swinging in with a snake.
And he's offering to trade boards here.
Yeah.
And I think Tanner might be up for that. The thing about Tanner's situation right here is that, he's drawn some extra cards. He has the trial in play. He might have ways to use it. It could be really good for him.
He just takes the damage, though, going to 15. Kenji going to play his own Benefaction of Ronus, taking a look at the top 5. Oh, how many copies of Ronus are we going to see today? Here's another one.
Yeah, there's a lot of Ronus out here, apparently.
Wow. And an Archfiend of Ifnir, I believe that is.
Yeah, those are some good cards off the top of Kenji's deck.
Wow. And even if he's going to put them in the graveyard, he could, oh my gosh.
It looks like he has, some number of Wander and Death also in his deck, so he can get them back from the graveyard in a lot of situations.
I was going to say in this one, but not in this one, but in other situations. He's going to take the Archfiend.
Yeah, that's the good one.
Archfiend, widely considered one of the best 3 cards in the set.
Yeah.
Take a look. It's a 5/4 for 5. Whenever you cycle or discard another card, put a -1/-1 counter on each creature your opponents control. You'd even have cycling. You're never going to do that unless you are in dire straits.
Yeah.
But talk about synergy between Archfiend and Hapatra.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're putting all those -1/-1 counters on your opponent's creatures. You're creating snakes for all of that. It's just disgusting. The thing about this card that's so absurd is if it was just a 5/4 flying for 5, it would still be one of the better cards in the set.
Yeah.
Just so good. And it's especially good when you're able to take it very early in a draft or when you're able to build a sealed pool around it. It becomes much better as you play more cards with cycling in your deck.
It'll be fun to see if Kenji can make use of that -1/-1 counter synergy with Hapatra. This looks to be a Kenra, am I wrong, Kenra Charioteer from Tanner?
Yeah, and that's going to give all of his creatures trample, so he can do a good job of battling through these snakes.
Tanner, great shirt. Kenra Charioteer, also 3/3 with trample itself natively.
Doesn't swerve.
It does not swerve, no. Brutal. Life on Amonkhet is not long and very difficult from what I've gathered.
I like that Tanner has been doing a good job of not trading off the Soul Stinger with a snake at any point, only really getting that in when he can, because it's doing a very good job of punishing Kenji if he is able to rebuy those trials and try to reuse Trial of Ambition.
I would have been so tempted to take the trade with the snake to move the -1/-1 counters onto Hapatra. Kenji just passes the turn back.
And I'm sure he's got something here. In the front, it looks like he has Stir the Sands in his hand.
Oh,
It's a
yes,
really
he
cool
does.
card from this set.
Stir the Sands. Cost 6 to give you 3 2/2 black zombies, or you can cycle it for 4 just to get 1. This is one of these series of cards that gives you a bonus from cycling.
And those cards are all very good, every single one of them. There are a lot of interesting interactions that happen with them, too, with the cards that make cycling matter.
Tanner has played a Cartouche of Zeal, is going to pick up his Trial. Will be able to deal 3 damage again, though not this turn. In comes the Soul Stinger and the Kenra Charioteer.
Yeah, now the Cartouche probably made it so the Snake wouldn't be able to block this turn. Tanner probably a little disappointed that he doesn't have a second red here.
Oh, yes.
To really make some fun things happen.
That would be a major swing. Kenji is, in fact, going to cycle his Stir the Sands to get the 2/2 zombie. Draw a card. Draw a card, get a zombie. Yeah, I'll take it. Kenji drops to 12. Tanner passes the turn. I see now a Bone Picker at the front of Kenji's hand there.
Yeah, a Bone Picker, another card that's especially good in these black-green decks. A lot of the time you're moving -1/-1 counters onto a Doom Dissenter when you play one of your creatures.
Yeah.
And then you can just pay 1 black and get a 3/2 Flying Death Touch, which is a heck of a deal.
Kenji swinging in with the zombie, snake, and Hepatra. Some people are commenting his deck looks sick. It really does. The synergy here is really tough to deny.
Yeah, it's kind of gross. He has Ronus, he has Archfiend of Ifnir, his Bone Picker, he has Double Trial, he has a Patra.
Yeah, if I open this sealed pool, I am very happy. Kenji tapping 3. Here we have Splendid Agony from Tanner to put a -1/-1. Oh, I see he was cartouching of Strength on his zombie, but Splendid Agony will give that zombie 2 -1/-1 counters. We'll send it to the graveyard, essentially 2 for 1 in Kenji. But we do have Bone Picker as a follow-up play for single mana. 3/2 flyer with Death Touch. So not too bad. And he passed the turn back. Well, there were certainly a lot of good targets for Splendid Agony on Kenji's side of the battlefield, using it to counter a Cartouche of Strength effectively. Pretty strong as well. Kenra Charioteer coming in for the attack, going to be blocked by one of the death-touching snakes. All Tanner's left with currently is that Soul Stinger. We do know that he has a Trial of Zeal in hand. And Kenji is tapped out, so that could be a way to deal with Hepatra if that's the way he wants to go, although Bone Picker is certainly a tantalizing target as well.
I think at this stage of the game, you really just want to be going for that Bone Picker. Kenji has, stumbled on mana, taken a turn off to try to draw extra cards, and just the power of his cards in general has allowed him to stay in this game the whole time.
Yep, Trial of Zeal takes down Bone Picker. Kenji is still on 4 mana, has cycled a number of times, still unable to find land number 5. But, as JVL says, a lot of good action still on the battlefield. Kenji's going to cycle his Greater Sandworm here, searching for a land. Still can't find... Oh, there it is! I lied. Here we have a Blighted Bat, which is a 2/1. For a single colorless mana, you can give it haste. And passes the turn back to Tanner. There you can see the bat on your screen. Tanner is going to, in some of his own mana woes as well, cycle his Desert Ceridon, which is a 6/4, cycles for a single red mana, one of the single color cycling cards that we see in this set. And here comes a Defiant Great Maw, going to add 2 more counters to the Soul Stinger there, which is going to be quite a threat when it dies, as it will be able to move those counters those -1/-1 counters onto another creature, essentially killing whatever he wants.
Now that Kenji has 5 lands in play, though, it's only a matter of time before Archfiend of Ifnir comes down and just,
That's
you
right.
know, takes the game over by itself, potentially.
Not this turn. Oh, here's a Cartouche of Ambition on our Blighted Bat. It gives a -1/-1 counter to a creature and gives +1/+1 and lifelink to the bat. He's trying to decide where to put it because when you put it on the Defiant Great Maw, Defiant Great Maw removes a counter from something else, I believe.
Yeah, and this is really smart from Kenji because by getting that 4th -1/-1 counter off of the Soul Stinger, it protects his Archfiend of Ifnir.
Oh, you're right. Kanji's deck, Value Town, USA. Kenji's played a lot of Grand Prix, a lot of PTQs, has been so close to qualifying for the Pro Tour so many times that he's a great person to cheer for. We just love to see him succeed. But Tanner's got that awesome shirt, so it's a tough call. Oh, Defiant Great Maw removes counters only when you yourself put the counter on the Great Maw. Thank you. That makes sense then, why a counter was not removed. Tanner still on 4 mana, but a full grip of cards. I see what looks to be a never to return in Kenji's hand as well. Oh boy.
Wow, his deck has it all. Jeez, it's like...
Or is that destined to lead? I'm not sure. Here comes the Archfiend, which is, you know, foil just for the sick rubbins.
Yeah, he's perhaps playing more than a rare for every pack he opened.
There we take another look at that Archfiend. Just a big dragon with a, I don't know if that's a sword or just a geographic feature. Tanner holding a copy of Splendid Agony, which distributes 2 -1/-1 counters and up to 2 of two target creatures. Putting one on the Blighted Bat.
In registration for our 1:30 events, we have a standard challenge and a legacy challenge scheduled for 1:30. Please come sign up with us at the registration stage out of the silence.
Soul Stinger doing some work here, going up to another counter and shooting down the Archfiend of Ifnir. Wow, what a combination. Kenji thought he had himself safe there, but the Archfiend comes down anyway, thanks to Splendid Agony on Tanner's own Soul Stinger. Soul Stinger, just a very, very effective card that's extremely scary because you don't want it to live because it's pretty large, but you also don't want it to die. There we saw a Greater Sandworm being cycled as Tanner tries to hit land number 5, and he doesn't get there, but he does find a Naga Vitalist, which is a land of some sort. Taps to add mana of any color your mana pool of a land that you control could produce. Passes back over to Kenji. Kenji here still in a pretty strong position, facing down just a 1/2 and a Defiant Great Maw with a 1 -1/-1 counter. Here comes another trial, black trial, causing Tanner to sacrifice a creature. Away goes the Naga Vitalist and his current hopes of hitting 5 mana. Kenji's deck, just amazing. This is the deck that you dream about when you head to a Grand Prix, that you're just like, I hope this is what I open. Defiant Great Maw blocking Hapatra, Vizier of Poisons, to take her down. Kenji getting in with 2 with his snakes and 2 with his bat.
Hi.
Hey, what's up, Marshall?
I'm just tapping in for Jake for a minute. He's wasn't feeling well. Looks like I came in at just the right time.
Yes,
but
you
I was
did.
watching this whole match alongside as well.
Yeah.
I was pushing the cards. So I got to see
Nice
that.
job, thank
Kenji
you.
was trying the whole time to use that stupid Destin to lead to protect his Archfiend, and then his
Yeah.
opponent's like, put some counters
Whatever.
on it.
Doesn't matter.
But that card also, the green side, the lead side of that card also can be a win condition. And he had Tanner down to such low life that Kenji could easily set up a scenario where he gets in the air, then use Destin on whatever, it doesn't matter, and
Right.
then cast lead and just finishes him off
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah, it was weird because both players actually ended up with mana issues. I thought Kenji had the worst of it, but it ended up being
Yeah.
Tanner with the worst issues.
Yeah, Kenji was able to draw out of it before Tanner was.
Yeah. He
Kenji's
was.
deck just sick.
Dude, I haven't seen it. Like, normally he'll come over and show it to me, but my goodness, just from what we saw from that one game, it looks nasty.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll be back with more Magic after these messages. Coverage here at Grand Prix Richmond. Maria Bartholdi in the booth with Marshall Sutcliffe. Game 2 already underway. Tanner Gates versus Kenji Gashira. Kenra Charioteer hitting the battlefield for Tanner versus Kenji's Initiate's Companion.
Yeah, the Companion looks pretty good here. 3 power as a blocker. If Kenji could trade off that card for a premium uncommon,
yes.
He'd be very happy about it.
Kenji getting in for 3.
He can just untap it
Yep,
here,
there he
too.
goes.
Yeah.
And there's Ronus, the Indomitable.
Jeez. Kenji's deck is nuts.
I know.
What the heck?
Ronus, by the way, taking over this Grand Prix while I've been in the commentary seat.
You said you've seen a lot of Ronuses?
I've seen like 4 or 5 Ronuses. I don't know what's happening.
That's insane. Well, this game's not going to last long if Tanner doesn't have an answer. And I'll tell you what, green-red against Indestructible,
Yeah, what are you going to do?
it doesn't work out. Now, you can see that Tanner has black mana in his deck as well. We saw a bunch of black cards in his deck that can distribute -1/-1 counters around. That does give him a chance, but still, it's a lot to deal with.
Oh, yes.
And Kenji is going to be able to start slamming in and doing a bunch of damage here, too. So, not good for Tanner in the early state.
Yeah, that's just what I was thinking of. Splendid Agony, I suppose, is a way to deal and shrink down Ronus. Comes in for 3. Ronus can't block, but it's indestructible.
Yeah, so Ronus gets to stick around, but Ronus is a social butterfly. Ronus needs friends. No friends
Yes.
for Ronus means that Ronus really doesn't do a whole lot. And so Tanner is going to take the line of trying to mitigate Kenji's board state here and prevent Ronus from becoming a creature very often. Unfortunately for him,
There comes a beast.
Kenji already had an answer and immediately gets to attack with Ronis.
Tanner drops to 13.
Goodness sakes. Card is such a beating.
Oh, it's great. Tanner, meanwhile, going to trade the beats, coming in with a 3-3. Plays a Nefkrop Entangler, which is just a 2-1. If you exert it, though, it becomes a 3-3.
Yeah, 2-1 with Trample. Heyo.
Oh. Oh, you're
It actually
right.
has double
You're right.
trample right now. No, it actually just does have trample.
Yes,
but it's
it's
actually
double trample.
Yeah, it's got double trample.
Channeler Initiate is a play for Tanner with 3 -1/-1 counters. Card's just great.
Normally that would be a pretty good turn.
Yeah.
Like I'd be pretty happy with that turn. All right, we're doing it. Not here.
Especially not now.
What is going on, Kenji?
Kenji.
Easy on
Unfair.
him. Easy on him.
Tanner's just going to extend the hand. He can't come back from that. Kenji takes the match 2 games to 0. Newmont,
Wow.
the nummy, taking it down.
Newmont game. That was a
Hello,
beating.
friend.
Man, I feel bad for Tanner. His deck looks totally fine.
It really does.
And he just got bum rushed by Kenji, who had an absurd draw there.
We're going to take a look in here on Chris Pacula versus Zarin Castillo.
What are we looking at here? Chris up a game?
Yeah, Chris is up a game here, 9-20.
Ooh, he has 2 Trial of Zeal sitting down
Oh,
there.
where's the cartouche?
No kidding. Emberhorn Minotaur. But it looks like he's behind.
Yeah, we've got more creatures on Zarin's side of the battlefield. We currently have a Horror of the Broken Lands, which
Yeah.
is a fairly large creature. And then we have Battlefield Scavenger, which you can exert to discard and draw.
Yeah, and I think that one's one of the ones that whenever any of your creatures
Yes,
exerts,
that's right.
you get to do it, right?
That's right.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But look at Chris, he's at 9.
Yeah. 1 card in hand, it looks, from the looks of it. Sweltering Suns.
Interesting.
All right, that's going to clear the board up a little bit.
Ah, I see.
We have the 4/3 Minotaur discarding down. Here we have a Benefaction of Ronis to search the top 5 again.
I better find him a cartouche or something.
I mean,
Nope.
oh,
He did find some nice stuff, though. He found a Wasteland Scorpion, a Merciless Javelineer, and a Shafet Monitor.
it's going to take the Wasteland Scorpion.
Is that what that is?
Yes,
Okay.
2/2 of Death Touch.
Yeah, that can trade off for the Brawler or the Horror. Or can it?
It can die.
That's game.
Zarin's going to take that game. They'll be going to game 3.
Man, are all your matches like this? I come in the booth with you for 1 round, and we've covered 2 games in like 3 minutes
Look,
flat.
Marshall, I get it done.
My
I don't know what you and
goodness.
Paul are doing over here.
We were watching a
Luxuriating.
game where a guy had 7 lands and was trying to top deck to play Sandworm conversions. It looked a little. His opponent had Kefnet. Like things are a
Wow.
little different pace for Paul and I in this tournament. Let's just put it that way.
Did he get his conversions out?
No, he died. Yeah,
Sad.
It was sad.
Marshall, have you ever played? Have you converged?
Oh God, yes. I had a game. Okay, can I just
Yes,
can we
please.
get in the brag zone here for a minute?
Let's do it.
So, I had a game a couple of days ago. I was playing on Magic Online, and I went a little deep. So I had Bounty of the Luxa,
Yeah.
Cruel Reality.
Okay.
I had Sandworm Convergence.
What?
I had 3 Lay Claim. This is all the same
What?
deck.
How?
Yeah, and I had the.
Are you playing every Gift of Paradise ever?
I played 2.
Okay.
I did play 2 of them, and I also had the. What is it called? The something of the Oracle, the 4 mana artifact.
Oh,
What is that called?
Oracle's Vault.
Oracle's Vault.
Yeah.
So in one game, I activated Oracle's Vault to get 3 bricks on it.
Yes.
And I cast Sandworm Convergence for free and Cruel Reality for
What?
free.
What?
My opponent did not concede.
Wow.
They're like, no, we're riding this thing out.
All right.
Didn't work out well for them. But I got to cast them both for free. My opponent did give me the really LOL in the chat.
Yeah. I was like, they've got to say something.
Yeah, I was waiting when the second enchantment went on the fake stack from the Oracle's Vault. I'm like, come on, you got to say something.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Really? LOL? Like, yeah, okay.
I've thought that Oracle's Vault only casts creatures for free. when I initially first saw the card. And
Yeah.
then so I was like, no. You can cast anything off of that.
Yeah, and in fact, it's even better than cast. It actually says play.
Just says play it.
Yeah, which means lands are
You can
also.
play a land.
Yeah. That's a huge distinction when you look at cards like that. Is to pay special attention to the small details, like whether it says cast or play, because. That card, if you play it on turn 4, you untap, you activate it.
Right.
If you hit a land, you've got 3 mana to work with.
Yeah.
That's not a terrible turn 5 anyway.
No.
And you're getting the bricks going. You could get those bricks up there and then start bricking people.
I do see them coming around the table, though, so maybe its time has come.
Not past me. That card's all value all the time.
I just got to play my very first Sandworm Convergence deck the other day.
Oh, high five.
Yes. It was so great.
Such a sweet card.
It was in pack 2, and it got passed to me, and it was just like I heard the call of the angels.
You heard the angels sing.
They played their harps. That's all I want to do. Let's take a look at Chris Pikula again. Here in his match, going to find a swamp. We've got that Battlefield Scavenger again on Zaren's side of the
Nice on
playing
turn
field.
2.
Oh, yes.
If he does have a particularly land-heavy hand, if he's able to start chipping in with that, he can start to rummage those lands away.
So, in your opinion, are you exerting this Scavenger?
Well, it depends. I mean, if my hand does have a significant number of lands in it, yes, absolutely. And I would trade it for almost anything, even the stupid mummy. But in this case, it looks like he's got 4 lands, 2 spells, so he probably is pretty happy with his hand and doesn't want to rummage anything away.
Yep, the Festering Mummy going to trade there because when it dies, you put a -1/-1 counter on target creature.
Right.
He's going to follow it up with a Wasteland Scorpion.
Yeah, when it comes to looting, I will do it basically every chance I get regardless.
Yeah.
There's very few scenarios where I won't loot, but rummaging is much different beast.
It really is.
Discarding first is a big deal.
Soul Stinger enters play for Zaren with 2 -1/-1 counters on it. It is a 4/5, shrinking down.
Yeah, it's 2/3 on the board, 4/5 base stats.
Never gets cast on it. Goodbye.
Yeah, it is a May ability there for Soul Stinger, so he gets to keep his Wasteland Scorpion around. But I mean, this has been when you look at the red-black deck here, Maria, this is basically the perfect curve. He literally just went 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
Just
That's exactly what you want.
Bang, 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 bang.
Horror of the Broken Lands.
Yeah, but this is a bad spot for Chris because Zaren can just attack with. Okay,
Oh.
well, I spoke too soon. I was going to say
Final
he can
reward.
represent the ability
Yes,
to
to
cycle or
cycle.
discard, and Chris doesn't really have a good block there. Huge risk if he were to block, but Zaren's having none of it.
Are you somebody who just like show me in that instance?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you may be in that spot for Chris where he just has to take on the risk, but it is so incredibly risky, and there's such little downside for Zaren that you're going to have a very difficult time just being like, sure, no blocks. And if you do block, you are in savagely bad trouble, and if they have a cycler.
Yep, that's true.
Like if they just go Scarab Feast, you're like,
Yeah.
well, the game's over.
Chris Pikula, meanwhile, at 4, Zaren at 20.
Cycles a Shafet Monitor and just takes the hit.
Oh boy.
I think you're...
He's up against it here.
Maria has death touch. Every match she commentates happens immediately.
These players are also playing extraordinarily quickly.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Where this is not a turbo match.
This is a frustrating spot for Pikula as well. He has been able to deploy cards, but right now he has 6 cards in his hand and 6 mana, and it still looks like he might just die.
Yeah. I
But
mean, he's
that's what 2, 3, 4, 5 will do for you.
exactly. That 2/2 is a threat. That 4/4 is a threat, and that Hyena Pack's even a threat.
It is. Yeah, normally if you're in Chris's spot, you'd hope to be able to like play a 5-drop, say a Colossopede, and be like, okay, I'm tentatively stable. He's just not here. He's just dead if he does that.
I see a Hooded Brawler at the front of his hand.
Well, he's got to play 2 things one way or
Yeah.
the other.
Miles Miller and Jonathan
Yeah,
Teacher.
that is a Hooded
Customer
Brawler.
service for Miss United Place, Miles Miller.
Definitely has options. I saw an Emberhorn Minotaur, but that's going to be pretty expensive.
Yeah, if he has a 2-drop to pair with it, he could do that. Is that a Hapatra?
It is. There is a Kenji's
hello.
deck.
Yeah.
We
Hey,
see.
this is pretty good.
There we go. The road to recovery, possibly.
Yeah, it's still a really bad spot for him in general, though, because he's going to have to chump block the Horror with Hapatra probably, and then put the Minotaur on the Hyena pack
Ugh,
and take 2 and fall to 2.
that doesn't feel great.
Oh, he's going to take the riskier line here. He's going to go down to 1. Hey, but it worked.
Oh,
That was
there
a
we
big
go.
game for him. This actually gives him a chance to come back. I like that block by Chris. He took on risk, but he needed to. Oh, no.
Yeah, Cursed Minotaur has Menace, so
Oh,
Chris
yeah.
definitely has to play 3 creatures this turn?
Yeah,
Or
two
get rid of one
creatures
of
and a
them?
removal spell or 3 creatures. This is incredible pressure from
He has a
Zera.
Cartouche of Strength and a Trial of Zeal. Who's
Okay,
gonna take
that's
that?
a good start.
Okay, there's a Hooded Brawler.
What is this?
I'm not sure. Okay.
I mean, he played it. He has a chump block. Oh, he needed stamina there.
Dread Wanderer hits the table
Man,
for
it
Zarin.
just never stops
I
from
know.
this guy.
An
Chris just
unending
can't,
assault.
just like one turn, just say go. Instead, it's like lethal threat, evasive lethal threat, impossible to kill lethal threat. Okay, sure.
Dread Wanderer, you can see, comes back from the dead for 2 and a black if you
Yeah.
have 1 or fewer cards in hand.
Yeah. Heck bent, they've been calling that.
I love
If you're
that.
heck bent, you can
Heck
bring
bent.
back Dread Wanderer. Naga Vitalist.
Okay. So 1-2.
Yeah, and then he's got Return.
So he's going to exile something from Zarin's graveyard to make a 2-2 zombie.
God, Chris is still hanging on here.
Yeah, he
somehow?
is. By his fingernails.
Chump, chump. I guess one's a trade.
Technically.
Yeah. Yeah. The Wanderer not particularly caring if it's a trade.
Oh, another Hyena attack, and here comes the Wanderer back again. Chris extends the hand.
Wow.
Zarin takes down that match 2-1.
Man, Chris tried his hardest.
He really did.
He really hung in there, but goodness sakes alive.
Don't you just hate those games where you're
Hate
like,
those.
oh, I'm clawing my way back.
I'm doing everything I can. And then he just keeps
Yeah.
playing card after card after card after card. Does show you the strength, though, of decks like that, because when you look at those cards, they weren't that powerful.
No.
I mean, Hyena pack, wow.
Yeah,
you
3/4.
know, Jeez. You know, even a card like Dread Wanderer is not like a super powerful card. It's a good card, but it's nothing great. And he still was able to leverage a good mana curve and a good curve out to his advantage.
Let's take a look here at Corey Baumeister versus Seth DeLuca in Game 3. Corey on 7, Seth on 10. Seth's got an Aven Initiate, a Festering Mummy, a Miasmic Mummy, something that I'm not sure whose it's been, Corey's thing has been cast out.
Oh, yeah, something got cast out, didn't it?
Corey, meanwhile, only has a Nefcrop Entangler and a Honed Kopesh.
Huh.
He's going to compulsory rest that Aven Initiate and
Yeah.
give his Nefcrop Entangler. Not only will that guy have whatever those balls on a string are, he also has this scary curved knife.
Oh, that's a Tangler.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
sure. Is
Yes.
that really what it's called?
No,
Oh.
it's a fearsome Tangler. I don't know. A mace? That's with the one big ball, right?
Yeah, that's like on a, yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about like the one you can wrap around.
Yeah, somebody's ankles.
Yeah.
Somebody will know. Somebody will
has
know.
to what that is. Yeah. So he's got 2 different weapons, I suppose.
Here's a True Heart Duelist from Seth, which can block an additional creature and embalms for very cheap at 3 mana.
True.
Have you played the Honed Kopesh in
No,
anything?
I think it's
Yeah.
not very good.
Okay.
Yeah, even in an aggressive deck like Corey's, you know, he's looking to be a red-white deck, which traditionally leans us towards a more aggressive bend, and that is true here in this set as well. The Horned Kopesh, it's not, or Honed Kopesh, excuse me, isn't, you know, you don't look at it and think, well, that just doesn't do anything, but you do look at it and think, that just doesn't do enough.
Yeah.
+1/+1 matters, but not as much as you'd hope it would matter. And I find it to be generally not worth a card.
Okay.
You know, each card slot in your deck matters in a big way, and Honed Kopesh is a little light on power level for my taste, even in an aggressive deck.
Turns out that weapon, I believe, is called Ebola.
Ebola.
Not Ebola, but
Ebola.
Bola.
All right, I'll buy it.
And here we have Unwavering Initiate being embalmed for 5 mana. 3/2 Vigilance.
Corey's under some pretty serious heat here,
Yeah,
Maria.
he
This
is.
is a big attack here from Seth.
Seth getting in there with Miasmic Mummy, Two Heart Duelist, Festering Mummy.
Oh, yeah.
That Festering Mummy, I suppose it's protected. The Nefkrop Entangler's got the extra toughness thanks to the Kopesh that it won't.
That's right. Yeah, it gives it the extra toughness so that it will not die to that -1/-1 counter on its own. Also, the True Heart Duelist, of course, can block 2 creatures. So Corey doesn't have to take any damage here if he doesn't want. But we're going to see some pretty serious trading of boards here.
No, the Duelist is on.
Yeah.
Seth's
So wait.
side.
So what is the mummy then?
The Mummy there is Unwavering Initiate.
Oh, thank you. I thought that was a True Heart Duelist. All right. Well,
It's kind of hard to tell.
he is going to take some damage. Trade.
Not great.
Corey's starting to. Someone could be slipping away from him. Also, of course, the red-white decks have a hard time coming back.
Yeah, they do.
You know, they just don't have the tools in many cases to come back. Though it is sealed deck. And sometimes, you know, they do end up
Sometimes
with.
you have a Dust to Dawn that
Yeah.
you draw off the top.
Totally.
But you're right. This is always the question when you're building sealed is, do you take the risk to build an aggressive deck? Because sealed's generally a slower format that's more reliant on bombs and top-tier removal.
Totally.
So I know in my past I have built a very aggressive sealed deck, but it's got to be really aggressive
It does.
generally.
It absolutely does. The whole idea being that you get underneath those bombs. You kill them before those bombs are relevant, or you punish people who have greedy or slow mana bases.
Right.
The problem is that it's hard to build a good aggressive deck in sealed because you don't get to have as much authority over your mana curve and things like that. It looks like he might have forgotten his mummy trigger here, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But it looks like we're already at Corey's draw step, so it may just be too late. Seth is pointing at the Festering Mummy, and I don't see a counter on anything currently. So there's a chance he forgot
Corey's just
that.
going to draw.
Well, that's a bummer for Seth. Hopefully for him, it doesn't make a difference. He's going to take 4 here. Cancel that order.
Oh, nope. Never mind. Splendid Agony is going to stop that in its tracks.
Corey says, oh, splendid. Down goes, well, yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, he has 1 card in hand.
Wow.
Whoa. All
He just
right.
drew a 5-drop?
True Heart Twins. And they are going to get equipped with that Kopesh. They are a 4/4. And when they're exerted, or anything is exerted, team gets +1/+0, but going to extend the hand.
Yeah, so that was start to finish there for Seth DeLuca. So he played Seth, he's played start, and then he had enough mana to play the finish and just to kill the 1 blocker. And with Corey at 2 life, that was it.
Wow. Well, that game wasn't as fast as our other ones.
No, yet it was the most aggressive matchup somehow.
It was.
ended up being slower, but
Marshall, I didn't get a chance to ask you since JVL was sitting next to me most of today. What do you think of this sealed format?
I've done 3 sealed decks outside of the pre-release, which are a little bit different because the cards are so new, and also because you get that extra card in there that kind of changes things. So I don't have a huge sample size to draw from for that, but from my perspective, it's played quite well actually. It's bomb-driven, which is often the case for sealed.
Yeah.
There are many good bombs in this set, and many of them are difficult to interact with, and some of them are even just rares. We're not even just talking about mythic rares here. So you will see people build to their Glory Bringers, to their Archfiend of Ifnirs. Those type of cards do dictate a lot, but you also do get access to some pretty nice removal that can deal with a lot of different types of threats. And to me, that's just enough of a balance. The real question comes in with archetypes. Look, you don't get to choose necessarily, but we're going to find out after today which of the archetypes end up rising to the top as the ones that you want to open even though it doesn't really have any effect on how you actually do it yourself.
Well, we're going to take a brief break. When we come back, more magic from here, GP Richmond.